Welcome to Find Your Lady Tribe. My name is Brenda,
And I am Michelle.
and it's our mission to build a community of lady tribes, a place to connect and grow your tribe with resources, ideas, workshops, retreats, and events. We invite you to join our inner circle and become a tribe leader. It's free!
Each week, we will start a conversation about connecting within your tribe and across all of our tribes. Our goal is to create 1,000 new lady tribes in 2022. And each episode will challenge you with a call to action. The first one is to join our inner circle. Go to tinyurl.com/myladytribe. And as a gratitude gift, we will send you a downloadable copy of Chapter 1 of Lady and the Tribe, The Awakening.
Yay! So please subscribe to be notified of a new episode each week. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today at Find Your Lady Tribe. As you can see, I am kind of flying solo here. My sidekick, Michelle, is off on a little adventure in Mexico, so we are just plugging through. We're missing her. She's really going to be disappointed because very excited to share the guest that we have to offer you today. Her name is Corbie Mitleid. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Corbie has always been the different one. You know, a writer and visionary in a completely medical family. Father, a doctor, mother, a nurse, brother, a doctor. She has always made her own path rather than take the one cut for her by others. Leaving an Ivy League university after 2 years, Corbie struck out to find where joy and purpose lived, regardless of what she was told she ought to do. The path wasn't easy. 2 marriages which didn't last, a constant search for a partner who understood, a succession of jobs, a series of spiritual paths. Out of the blue, breast cancer, not once, but 3 times. Life became a roller coaster with no breaks, asking Corbie to survive divorce, abuse, poverty, and life-threatening illness. But through all of this, she learned the value of the examined life, meeting challenges and always seeking the next question, facing each new situation with strength, courage, and humor. Today, Corbie brings us a full toolbox to her job as a beacon of manifestation and vision. Welcome, Corbie. I'm so excited you're here today.
It's great to be here, Brenda. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, just would you kick us off by sharing a little bit about you and why you do what you do?
Okay. The little sign on the door, if you will, says Certified Tarot Master, Past Life Specialist, Psychic Medium, Channel, Author, Spiritual Counselor, and Reverend. So, when I was 9, I read a book called The Witch Family, and I went, ooh, there's magic in the world. I want to go find it. Fast forward to 1973, when I was a senior in high school. I was working part-time at Spencer Gifts. They had the James Bond 007 tarot deck, and I bought it because we were all hippies. We had our elephant bell-bottoms and our fringe jackets and our deck. Now, 5 years later, everyone else moved on to roller skates and disco balls. I was still reading with the cards. I loved the stories they told. So I read for friends for 20 years, making sure I was a clear channel for the information. All of a sudden, in the early 90s, I could do hands-on healing and talk to dead people with no training. That's when the universe handed me my draft notice and said, hello, you're working for us. So I did it part-time while I did my other career stuff until 9/11, when I saw the towers burn, and I turned to my husband and I said, I need to do the work full-time. People need to know there are other answers out there. He said, I believe in you, go do it. So it's been over 20 years. I work 6 days a week, 14 hours a day. I read 1,000 people a year, and I get to get up in the morning. I don't have to get up in the morning. That's key.
I love it. Oh my gosh. You know, when you say you work for, 14 hours a day because you get to, it's really because you're called to this work, and it probably doesn't feel that much like work most of the time.
No, it feels like work when I know that I'm going to have to power through a client's stubbornness the soul plane readings I do, which take me 12 hours of prep work, people come when there are massive life challenges. And they always want to know, well, I'm really a good person and this is all happening to me because. And sometimes I have to tell them, no, you set this up to have this difficult life because this is what you need to learn. Or no, you're not going to be having the baby that you really want because, I remind them, even the best of us are only 85% accurate. The only one 100% accurate is God, and God is not doing personal readings this week. But if clients are willing to listen and take charge of their own lives and allow me to empower them, those are the best ones.
Yeah, and you mentioned in your own story, your own struggles and how that's made you who you are today. Would you expand on that just a little bit?
Sure. When you live the examined life the way I do, you don't waste time in a pity party and you don't stay stuck in your story. How do you look at the examined life? Here's something happening I don't want, but I can't escape it. Okay. What are the things that I can learn from it? For me in particular, how can I then teach with it? And then next, let's go to the breast cancer. My third bout happened 18 months after I married my husband, finally got the right guy. And yes, we're still married. And the doctor said, well, it's the second primary, so your danger clock's back to 0. But we're going to take you from literally this Dolly Parton figure. Put a brunette wig on Dolly, it was me. Wow. We're going to take the rack, we're going to take the ovaries. You're going from that figure to a fat fire plug with permanent side effects. And we're going to really damage you on the inside. So normal marriage is out of the question. Suck it up. Did I go home and cry for 24 hours? Of course, I was normal. But I knew I had to find 3 reasons to be okay with it. First reason, you don't have them, you can't get cancer there. Number 2, the top half is not going to get slammed in the refrigerator door at the doctor's every year. And every woman listening knows what I'm talking about. Yes. Implants means I'll be perky till I'm 93. That's cool. I got out of Mass General in 3 days, shopped for a bathing suit in 5 after a double mastectomy and reconstruction. It's been 18 years. I am still very clean and intend to remain so. My husband and I have a different marriage than we imagined when we got married in 2002. But we are more in love with each other now than we were the day we got married. And we're hitting 20 years. Because I didn't stay stuck in the pity party. Oh my God, I've had cancer.
Right.
I moved on. Who am I going to be now?
Absolutely. Wow, you made lemonade out of lemons, it sounds like.
I bought the whole damn lemon farm. Are you kidding? I sold them.
I love it. So I want to go back to a conversation you and I have had in the past regarding your name. And I understand it isn't your given name, Mitleid. That's right. Tell us about that.
Neither is Corbie. I call it my Elton John name. Elton John's real name is Reg Dwight. And my legal name, which no, you don't get to hear, has no wiki-woo value whatsoever, let me tell you. But Corbie is Gaelic for raven. Ravens have always been my baby birds. Hair color, that's fun. Mitleid is German. It means compassion. It reminds me why I do the work. And I will also tell you a real quick story about why you should have an Elton John style name if you're going to be a psychic medium. Because when I was using my legal name and it was our house phone, I would get calls at 3 a.m. from drunk men who wanted to know if their wife was coming back or they could shag the woman down the street. She was hot. And this was not an option. So Elton John name, you only have my cell phone. It goes off at 9 o'clock and I can sleep. But I learned the hard way.
Yeah. Wow. Can you tell us, share with us, people, women, and mostly women are part of our tribe here. What, for those of you who haven't actually been able ever reached out to someone gifted with your skills, why people reach out and kind of the comfort that you're able to offer.
Okay. Well, as you can tell, I am not what I call a glurpy purple with angel psychic. It's not, hi, my name is Little Dancing Raccoon, and here is my spirit guide, Arctic Bear. Oh, please, I'm from New York. I'm as practical a psychic as you're going to find. And people come to me for 4 things. The everyday tour bus, practical answers, house, car, job, kids, finances. Okay, God, you put me here. Now what? Past lives. Who was I in 1642 Belgium? Why am I attracted to lilac trees? They want to speak to their spirit guide, Binky, or how's dead Aunt Mabel? I mean, that's really what they come to me for. But because my whole purpose is to put a rocket pack on their back and show them that they are their own best expert, not me. I'm an intuitive counselor, not a fortune teller. People leave me empowered. For instance, let's say that you wanted to open up, an organic cosmetic store. Let's do that. I would not pull a few cards and say, wait until January and fire the second redhead. It would be a card for you, a card for any partner you have, a card for the energy around the business, the brick and mortar location, how to market it, clients, competition, staff, finances, what you need to know, and best possible outcome. Notice this gives you so much wonderful information, you can make it work. Do not come to me with a yes or no question. Is my business going to be successful? Because I will look at you and say, and what if I say no and you're going to live in a box under a bridge? Wrong question. Also, that's when the fakes get you. That's when the fake gypsies would go, oh, Brenda, I know you want to do this, but you have a family curse. How many in your family? 4? You have a dog? And they'll tell you that you need to pay them $1 a piece to burn 400 specially blessed candles at the Roman Catholic Church. You don't want that. You want people that say, here are your opportunities and how to grab them. Here's the top stuff. Here's how to get through it or around it. Here's your toolbox. Go rock and roll.
I love it. I love it. And what you said that something initially inspired you to witchy woo, however you call it.
Wiki woo. Yeah.
Wiki woo.
Yeah, wiki woo.
I'm a woo wannabe just to be honest.
Oh, don't get me started because everybody can do what I do. I'm not special. I'm telling you that.
Okay.
We are all wired for psychic work. Every one of us.
Really, I love it because my partner, Michelle, who isn't here today, she is the softer side and the really connected in that way. Whereas I'm like, I'm like, Fox Mulder from X-Files. Well, I want to believe.
I love skeptics because skeptics are not what I call cosmic muffins. Cosmic muffins go, oh my God, it says Mercury is retrograde. I can't leave the house for 3 weeks. No, you can leave the house. Just learn to work with the energy. That's all. So no, you guys are exactly the right combination to get the real answers.
I think so. And so what is the work? What is a prescription that you prescribe most often or regularly to your clients?
I help them to look at their own life. I tell them, use the idea of the examined life. Always ask yourself 3 questions. What am I X about? Sad, worried, angry, depressed. Why am I X about that? And the question we never ask ourselves, what do I think would happen if I stopped being X about that? I teach them the difference between fear and fame. Fear equals false evidence appearing real. Fame equals full acceptance, means everything. You want to be fearful of famous. And I teach them to think like a Martian detective. Here's this. You and I were sitting across from each other and you had water coming out of your eyes. I might say, why are you crying? Gleeble, the Martian, who was assigned to go learn about humanity, pops out of his little saucer, comes toddling over to you, very excited, and goes, why is there water coming from your eyes? And Gleeble might get a better answer because maybe your contact lenses are bugging you, or maybe you have allergies, or maybe there's an emotional basis. When we go completely non-judgment is when we get our best, most fruitful information and answers.
Right. So it's taking a step back from what you believe is happening and taking it just one level. I get it. Interesting. Okay.
Now let's take a look at 95% of my questions are romance. Does Bruce love me? Okay. Yes, I will pull cards on you, Bruce, the relationship, what you need to know, and best possible outcome. But if you say, I still don't know what to do, I will pull what I call the 3 threes. 3 cards for status quo. Y'all just bumble along. 3 cards for the come to Jesus meeting and you do serious counseling. And 3 cards for hostile, bye-bye, it's been nice, I'll see you later, and you leave. But this is where free will comes in. The you ought to leave card might be gleaming at me like Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. But I zip it because if you say, I guess I'll just stick it out for a little while, That's your free will. The only time that I take off the reader's turban and I put on my reverend collar is if you come to me and say you've been gaslit or abused or raped. Then I will help you get out of that situation. But if you're not in danger, it is up to you on your life path. I can show you, but I can't force you.
Right. So you don't give, directives, more just an educated
unless you've
perception.
unless you've got cancer, in which case I will be happy to share with you everything that worked for me. But that's
Something
a different sort of thing.
Sure. Okay, so you mentioned that we all have it in us. You're not special. Well, we are all special, Corbie. Absolutely. And I know you agree with me on that too. We are all special. How do we, what do you recommend a practice for us to kind of be able to hear messages from our inner being and all that?
The first thing you got to do is you got to learn to ground, center, and shield. That's boot camp. Grounding and centering keeps your energy clear, keeps you centered. Shielding keeps you from absorbing some of the stupid stuff out there. Okay. Then you start practicing and you take notes. You're not going to be right all the time. I'm not right all the time. But you will learn what your real gifts are. See, when we tell the universe, yeah, I want to play in the big garden, if you will, it goes rifling through our inner file cabinet to see what we're good at. Me, theater major at Brown University, and I acted in New York, so I understand character development and story. Words are my drug of choice. I'm a published author, so I can tell the stories. And I have been interested in history since I was a wee thing in single digits. You put all that together, and the two things I love most and I'm best at are tarot and oracle cards, which tell the story, and past life retrieval. Do not ask me to do spirit art for you because I cannot draw a stick figure with a sharp pencil and a lot of prayer. Not my wheelhouse. So you need to see what you really love. There's, like I said, spirit art. People work with crystals. People are healers. People do psychometry, which is where you pick up an object and you read it. There's all kinds of stuff. Go and explore and play. You don't have to know all of it, but choose one or two things that you really love and get good.
I love it. Can you expand a little bit on the shielding piece? Because I feel like we all are really trying to do a better job of managing our own energy, but we feel like sometimes that outer forces are working against us in that.
All right. When you shield, I tell people you have to learn to see and feel the energy around you. Okay. And you kind of bring your shields up so that you ever see the little hamster balls where little Fluffy the hamster is rolling around in the living room and the cat and the dog are watching and say, but I thought it was a snack, but the hamster knows they're safe. That's kind of what shielding does. There are a couple of books that I recommend. One of them is by Ted Andrews, Psychic Protection. And the other one is How I Learned to Do What I Do. And it's called Opening to Channel. It's by Sanaya Roman and Dwayne Packer. And that teaches you how to talk to your guides. Both books teach you all the basics. So you get to feel the energy, you understand it, you get to control it a little bit. Now, the shielding energy is not going to keep you from being hit by a bus, but it will blunt when you're around someone who's always in the pity party. You do a little shielding work and you will not absorb that kind of negativity. You just won't. It will go bounce.
Well, what is one shielding practice that I'm in the car going to see my aunt who always tends to be a little negative? What's something I can be doing on the way there?
First thing is you, I think, go upstairs, envision your soul and the problem child's soul, and realize that the only people that have problems are the two personalities. The souls are up there watching the game and sharing a bag of popcorn. Have compassion for her negativity. We all do the best we can, trying to find a way to be happy. And maybe she thinks negative is the only way she can be happy. She won't be hurt, whatever her story is. When you have compassion for someone, that is shielding because you don't feel like you have to fix it. You don't feel like it's going to be directed at you. You realize it's what they need to do for themselves. And it's the difference between a mother who, when the child has a tantrum, panics and tries to stop it, and the one who just sits there and goes, okay, when you're done. And the child stops and they talk. Our job is not to fix other people. I'm a counselor. My job is not to fix other people. My job is to present them with information and allow them to fix themselves. And when somebody gets really, 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 really nasty at you, I always recommend using the duty head defense. The duty head defense, yes, DOODYHEAD. Just see the person in front of you, turn them into a 4-year-old who's walking up to you and kicking you in the shin and going, "You are such a duty head." Would you really say, "Oh my God, I'm a duty head. This is terrible. My day is going to be..." No, you'd laugh, probably stick the kid in the timeout. And you might not be able to do that with a person who's doing it. But when you realize they're just having a 4-year-old's temper tantrum, a lot of the charge goes away. And again, you wrap into that compassion.
That is excellent advice. I love that's something I feel like I could absolutely use on, you know, here and there for sure. And the compassion piece. I mean, don't we all just need a little compassion from others anyway?
Yes. Yes. It doesn't mean except if they gaslight you or they're narcissists, then you call them on it. Then, you know, I tell you to use my 2 magic phrases. Thank you for sharing. You may think that if you wish. Notice you're not agreeing with them, but you're not fighting with them either.
Right.
They want to be fought with. So if you don't fight, you blunt the arrow.
Right. Next story. Let's go to that one. Okay. That's really, I love that. That's really helpful. Tell us about your book, Corbie.
I actually have 3, but I think you may be talking about Clean Out Your Life Closet. Yes?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Clean Out Your Life Closet is clarity, adaptability, simplicity, and making friends with stress. But I don't tell you, do everything I tell you and it all gets better. I haven't lived your life. I haven't faced your challenges. Each chapter is, here's some of the dumb things I did. Here are a couple of client stories, and here are some suggestions. But at the end of each chapter, I have adventure pages where you have to answer the questions from your own life. For instance, in the chapter, Why Perfect Isn't What You Think It Is. Has perfect been a friend or foe in your life? Why? When did the search for perfection stop you from doing something important? How so? Think of a challenging situation and find 3 perfect things about it. How do your feelings about the situation change? So if you do all of the questions at the end of each chapter, by the end of the book, that's your personal manual. And I did that because all of us have bought damaging self-help books. I remember my first one. I was 13 in 1968, and I remember the first paragraph of the first chapter. Judy has a groovy wardrobe. Her hair is far out and her makeup is fab. But nobody likes Judy because Judy's fat. Right there, you were telling a 13-year-old, you are absolutely and utterly worthless unless you're skinny and we approve your looks. And you wonder why my generation started Weight Watchers and were the first ones that really had the bulimia and the overeating problems.
And the obesity.
Because that's how we were taught. That's right.
Then.
That's
Absolutely. Right. Wow. I can't even believe that that was in print. That's shocking to me. And that was a self-help book?
For teenagers, specifically for teenagers.
Oh, that makes me sick a little bit inside. Wow. Well, so it seems like your book is really, it can be entertaining through the stories, but also provides an action plan, a blueprint for others to kind of work some of their own stuff out.
It's very empowering. And you and your bud could buy the book on the same day, read the chapters at the same rate, and each do the questions for yourselves. By the end of it, each of you will have a different book because what you've taken from it is different. And your answers on the adventure pages prove it.
All right, guys, are you guys ready to write your own book? I love it. I love it. I think you mentioned you have a little gift for our listeners and viewers.
I do. I will send them a chapter from the book. I think, were you and I talking about the relationship chapter?
Well, that would be a good one for our group, I think, because we are all about tribe and our relationships and connections.
I've got a chapter called Getting Clear on Relationships. Because remember, relationships are not just your significant other. They're your kids, they're your mail person, they're your buddy at work, they're the person who walks the dog to the dog park. So yes, if you want to write to me, Corbie at CorbieMitleid.com, and the subject line should be Lady Tribe, I will send you that chapter from Clean Out Your Life Closet.
Well, thank you so much for offering that awesome gift. I think I'll be taking you up on that. I love it. So I'll definitely put all of Corbie's links in the comment section or the body of the message here, so you can come, if you're driving or whatnot, come back to it and grab that link. So Corbie, we always like to leave our viewers and listeners with something, some actionable item, some takeaway, some call to action. And I'd like to drop that in your lap today. What would you like to challenge our viewers and audience to do?
I would like them, because women have a tough time with it, to remember one thing. Whoop, here we go. No is a fabulous idea. When you say no to something you don't want to do, you are saying yes to yourself. You are respecting your own time. You are not giving away your time to something you don't believe in. No is not a dirty word. It's fabulous, ladies. Use it.
What excellent advice. I was just telling a friend this week how there were some things on my calendar recently that I really didn't want to do anymore, and I had to figure out how to work my way out of that. And probably the best strategy would have been to say no in the first place, right?
That's right. That's right. I know it's really valuable, but I don't have the time, or it's not in my wheelhouse. You know, if you're not a cook and they want you to bake 47 cupcakes or something, and say why if you want to. You didn't give me enough notice. I'm sorry. No, it's not something I believe in. No, I promised my kids that I would take them to the Children's Museum that day. No. And sometimes if they just push, you just go, no. And if you have to get really strong, you can say, you know, you are not respecting my no. And someone who doesn't respect my no will never get a yes.
That's great. One of my favorites, Corbie, is no is a complete sentence. You don't need to provide any explanation. No.
That's right. That is exactly right. What part of no do you not understand?
I love it. So Corbie, would you share with us, how do you tribe?
How do I tribe? Believe it or not, podcasts. I have done between 300 and 400 in the past 10 years. People invite me onto their shows and I get to shoot my mouth off to total strangers. It's great. I love it. But one of the ways that I really do tribe is on Patreon. I am a teacher, but I don't teach widely. Patreon is where once a month, people who are serious about wanting to learn and become tribe come, and we get together and I'll teach you everything that I know. If I don't know it, I know people who do. I've had Pat Dumas, who's a fabulous astrologer. I'm going to have Tiffany Butler, who's a very well-known shaman. People who can give you the knowledge so that you can find your own path, light your own way, and decide on the kind of life you want to create, not just get handed.
I love it. That's excellent. Thank you so much. So we always kind of sign off, Corbie, by saying, when 3 or more gather, we are tribe. And it's just been such an honor having you with us today, Corbie. Thank you so much. Again, everybody, I will be putting all of Corbie's contact info and links in the body of the show here. So come back and get it and connect with Corbie and get that free gift that she offered all of us. What a blessing. Thanks so much. Thank you so much for joining us today for Find Your Lady Tribe. Would you do us a favor and hit that like button and add a comment? It'll really help us grow.
Better yet, find the share arrow and share out to your tribe. Join us again next week on YouTube or your favorite podcast service.